20 years. But I counted it out, and I'm pretty sure we're going to finish Proverbs this year. That's right. We're going to just cover verses 22, 23, and 24 this morning. We are continuing to speak on this section, which is about the excellent wife. Always trying to score points, aren't you, George? Just score. He says, I got to get every point I can when I can get it. So there. She makes coverings for herself. Her clothing is fine linen and purple. Okay. Say, boy, that's a great passage to speak on. That's going to be wonderful to talk about that. Her coverings are fine linen and purple. Well, we've already been talking about her quite a bit. We see that she is really quite active, quite caring. She indeed is a real keeper. Besides her other activities, pursuits, she labors to clothe herself. Who she is, what she does, even what she looks like, does reflect on her family. I think that that's really kind of important. Oftentimes we can get so caught up in serving everyone else around us that we do nothing for ourselves. We do nothing for ourselves, but she does. It is good that she cares for herself. That's important. Her wardrobe may consist of various outfits. How many of you have more than one outfit to wear? This is my interpretation of a woman trying to decide what to wear. 15 feet of clothes, can't quite decide what I'm going to really wear today. I'm assuming, we don't know too much about what was going on back then, but you kind of wonder, I'm sure that they must have had some different clothes. They didn't do everything in this one outfit and then just washed it every day and dried it at night and then washed it and wear it. Let's go over to the book of Judges. Joshua, Judges, Ruth. Let's go to the book of Judges, and in the book of Judges we'll see, let's go to 8:26 first. We'll see this mention of purple. It says her clothing is fine linen and purple. Who had purple in this passage? Well, the kings, Zebah and Zalmunna did. 26, the weight of the gold earrings that he had requested was 1,700 shekels of gold, beside the crescent ornaments, the pendants, and the purple robes which were on the kings of Midian, besides the neckbands that were on their camels. Purple. We tend to see that there is references to purple, and oftentimes it's usually to somebody that's well-to-do. Joseph, in the courts of Egypt, that brought out fine linens and dressed him in purple. And of course, when they were mocking Christ, they had a purple robe. But the purple was supposed to represent royalty there. Let's look over at Judges 14:12. Judges 14:12. We have the story of Samson here. And Samson was kind of a character. Not quite the kind of character that we're talking about in our character in Proverbs 31, but he was a character. So anyhow, in 12 there, Samson said to these guys, he propounds a riddle. Let me propound a riddle to you. If you indeed tell it to me within 7 days of the feast and find it out, then I will give you 30 linen wraps and 30 changes of clothes. Wow. Of course, if you don't, then you give me that. Oh, 30 changes. It's hard for me to imagine that they would have had wardrobes that large But maybe he's asking for 5-year supply or something, I don't know. So we don't exactly know what the wardrobe would have consisted of, but here she's described as nicely dressed. I think that that's good. This, as I said, may indicate being financially well off. That's a typo. Luke 8:26 has nothing to do with this message at all. Luke 16:19 is about the parable, or as some say, more of a real story that Jesus told about the rich man and the poor man. And the rich man was dressed in fine purple every day, but the poor man had nothing. The problem wasn't that he had good clothes to wear, the problem was that he just didn't care at all about the needs of the poor. So you find that this purple and fine linen is mentioned in various places. Regardless of, I think that so just to kind of sum up what I've been talking about so far, it's really noteworthy that she labors to be adequately clothed. I think that's really a great thing to say about her. Regardless of your financial status, one can make an effort to be clothed appropriately. Yes, it's a lot easier to be clothed appropriately if you have a lot of funds. But, well, let's just go ahead and go to this here little demonstration. So I recently took a test to be able to drive what goes under this. You see? Been a long time coming. Haven't ridden motorcycles for 30 some years, I don't know. But got one, thought I should really have a license to drive it. That would be good, right? So I took what they call a basic rider's course, BRC, and to refresh myself on all the ins and the outs and all the other stuff, and make sure I could still hold up a motorcycle, okay? Which I could. So, one of the exercises that they had us do, because they warned us right away, it's $125 for the course. If you show up late, too bad, so sad, your $125 is gone. If you don't show up with the proper equipment, gone. And a number of things. So it said in the note that you had to have sturdy shoes that covered your ankles, that you had to have a helmet, that you had to have gloves, and that you had to have long sleeves and long pants with no holes in order to take the course. Piece of cake, right? Right. I already owned the jacket. Nice black fabric, very stylish looking. Costco, $35. Okay. I already had sturdy boots. Yep. These cover the ankles, nice, sturdy, flexible. You can feel the shifter, etc. Non-skid surface. $100. Already had those. Yard sale. $3. They're batter's gloves, but they're leather. They're completely flexible. You can feel the clutch, and you can also feel, even though I don't have much feeling, you can feel the turn on your turn signals, everything else. Helmet. Thanks to Sharon, $5. Yard sale. The first exercise, one in the class is, okay, we're going to split you up in groups. This group has $500 to get yourself outfitted to ride a motorcycle. This group's got 1,000, and this group's got 5,000. I'm thinking, I don't know where you shop, buddy, but I could outfit everybody in the room for $5,000. Well, he told us you never buy a helmet at a yard sale. Okay? I won't tell him mine's from a yard sale. So our group, we had 2 girls, 2 guys at my table. Immediately they just started, $250 for a nice leather jacket. Okay, well, we only have 500, so do we really want to spend $250 for just the jacket? How about the helmet? Let's start with the helmet. That's the most important part. So it was really pretty interesting, but we got it done 500 bucks, we had an outfit. The next group had 1,000 bucks. They did better. Do you realize that you can spend over $1,000 just for your jacket? Over $1,000, $1,200 for a jacket that's got all the little secret things that are sewn into the jacket that protect your spine and everything else in case you crash doing 190 or whatever. Just write it out on your jacket, take your jacket off, get a new one, keep going, whatever. Don't forget, people have choices. People have choices. She makes the choice to not only care for her family, her servants, she makes the choice to care for herself, and she doesn't neglect taking good care of herself, and she has some nice looking clothes for occasions that would be appropriate. So this can just represent, you got choices. You only got 500 bucks to get your outfit for riding, you can do it. Okay, great. So let's go on to verse 23. We have choices. Ladies, you do not have to spend $250 for a handbag. No. There's places like Ross and Marshall's, and then there's the proverbial yard sale, Bargain World. Okay. People have choices. Number 23, her husband is known in the gates when he sits among the elders of the land. Amen. Isn't that interesting that should be right in the middle of a whole chapter dedicated to the woman of virtue? Her husband is known in the gates. Immediately you say, why is that? Why is that? Down here in Proverbs 31 at the end, verse 31, it says, give her the product of her hands and let her works praise her in the gates. City Gate functioned as a forum for public business. It's where the elders sat to judge and to discuss local affairs. It was an important place. So, a couple of things come out of this. I have long believed that this verse is more about her than about him. Why would you put it right there in the middle of her, what she has as by way of outfits and what she does with some of the things that she makes? I kind of think that it's kind of like, hey Perry, you're Ellen's husband, right? Oh, yeah, I know Ellen. She runs the sound system. Okay, so that's Perry. Oh, is so-and-so your mom or your dad? Okay, good, yeah. I think that we tend to do that. We tend to make connections with people. I don't know whether that was back then or not, but I can almost see this playing out as in, hey, Bill, here to talk about business today. Hey, is your wife the one that makes those cool tool belt things that we all been wearing? She does such a good job with that leather. I mean, she does fabulous work. That's great. Bill, you're related to her. Oh. I could be wrong. Proverbs 22:1. Proverbs 22:1 tells us about a good name. A good name is better than what? What does your version say? Great wealth. Than great wealth. It's just a simple statement. A good name is to be more desired than great riches. Favor is better than silver and gold. A good name. Does this lady have a good name? Yeah, apparently she does. Her husband seems to have a good name. He's one of the elders. He's one of the leaders that would come together and sit in the gate. He's known in the gate. I think it has a lot to do with her, too. Okay? What does Ecclesiastes 7:1 say? That's just a few pages over in the other direction. Ecclesiastes 7:1 says that a good name is better than a good ointment. Well, I tell you, a good ointment is pretty good stuff. Good name is better than that. And the day of one's death is better than the day of one's birth. What? This is very easily understood for us preachers. If we want to quote somebody, it's really safe to quote somebody that's dead. Because they can't mess up anymore. You quote somebody and he's popular now, and then he turns around and runs off with the secretary or something, and you're going, oh boy, and I quoted him. The day of one's death is better than the day of one's birth. But he says a good name is better than a good ointment. Let's go over to the book of Ruth. Back to that Joshua Judges Ruth thing. Ruth, chapter 2 and verse 11. How many of you have never read the book of Ruth? Oh man, you need to sit down. 4 chapters, easy peasy. Oh man, once you get it read once, you'll just want to read it again and again and again. Ruth, she's really something else. She is. So, verse 11. Boaz answered Ruth, all that you have done for your mother-in-law after the death of your husband has been fully reported to me. And how you left your father and your mother in the land of your birth, and you came to a people that you did not previously know. I know about this. You've already got a reputation. I've already heard the story. And it's a good one. Go over to chapter 3. Ruth, under advisement, sneaks down to the threshing floor at night while some of the grain owners are sleeping with their piles on the threshing floor. She curls up at Boaz's feet, and then somewhere in the night he realizes his feet are pretty warm. And he wakes up and, oh, look at that! There's a woman laying right there at my feet. Wow. Talk about a shocker. And there in chapter 3, verse 10, then he said, may you be blessed of the Lord, my daughter. You have shown your last kindness to be better than at the first by not going or chasing after young men, whether poor or rich. And now, my daughter, do not fear. I will do for you whatever you ask, for all my people in the city know that you're a woman of excellence. She had a reputation. She had a reputation. Acts chapter 9 is the story of Dorcas. Dorcas, otherwise known as Tabitha, who used to make all kinds of things. She used to sew and what do you mean you don't have a coat? Well, we'll take care of that. What do you mean you don't have a robe? Well, we'll take care of that. And she died. Peter is called to come see. And all these people are standing around, look what she made for me. Look what she made for me. And she was such a sweetheart. Well, this is the woman. She makes stuff for her people. She makes stuff for herself. She really has a heart that cares about people. She has a reputation. Dorcas had a reputation. Romans chapter 16, verse 2 is about Phoebe. Romans 16, 1 and 2. Phoebe, she was a servant. Romans, went past it. Verses 1 and 2. It's a lady here. You don't read a lot about ladies in the Bible compared to men, but I commend to you our sister Phoebe, who is a servant of the church which is at Centria. that you receive her in the Lord in a manner worthy of the saints, and that you help her in whatever matter she may have need of you. For she herself has also been a helper of many, and of myself as well. Paul shares with them her reputation. She's a good woman. She's a real helper. She's concerned about the ministry. She's concerned about being used. Make sure that when she comes, you remember her reputation. Verse 24. Oh, no, let's finish with the reputation thing there. I'll give you a quote. Reputation is precious, but character is priceless. The Youth's Companion. I think that's pretty old. Let me give you a couple of other quotes about reputation. The reputation that matters is your reputation. Lifetime to build a good reputation, lost in a moment. I like this one. Your ideal, what you wish you were. Your reputation, what people say you are. Your character, what you are. Well, could tell you the story about this fella who went to church. He had a wife and a couple of kids, and the wife was busy one evening. She was out pursuing her hobby of making porcelain dolls at a doll making class. And so the husband was home with the children, Melinda age 7 and Craig age 5. He says, while I was chatting with a neighbor on the front porch, the phone rang. I was proud to hear Craig answer the phone promptly and politely. That's great. That's good news. But my pride vanished as I heard my son's response to the caller's request to speak to my wife. No, my mom's not here. She's out making a baby. But my dad is here if you want to talk to him. Naturally, the phone call was from one of the elders in the church. Okay, well, you got to be careful about the reputation thing going on there. All right, verse 24, she makes linen garments and sells them, and supplies belts to the tradesmen. Women in America experience a much higher evaluation than women in Bible times and places. And in general, in our world today, there are many places where a woman is not valued very much. They may find that they're not valued. They may find that in some way, even though they are just as skilled, just as worthy, they don't receive the same pay as a man. But just think about this. Way back then, way back in this book, in Proverbs, she was carrying on a business. She had a business. She was an entrepreneur. She was a manufacturer. She was a retailer. She was a supplier. She used to make things and sell them. She used to work with her hands, and she did things with these belts. Wow. Amazing. And she sold those to the tradesmen. Belts. I'm assuming that maybe they were belts that they could wear implements on, or maybe even a belt, kind of a device then, even if they had a protection that they could hang their sword on or whatever. I'm just thinking nowadays you think of a carpenter's belt or whatever else. Various people have various belts so that they can do various types of jobs. She used to make stuff like that. Wow. She had skills. She knew how to spin and weave. Remember the spindle and the distaff, etc. She knew how to cook. She knew how to bargain for real estate. She had skills, and she used them to increase the family's well-being. Do you have to have a college degree? Do you have to have a career in order to increase your family's well-being? No. You could. You could. The things women accomplish should be valued and never go unnoticed. What is the value of being there and raising your children so that they grow up and they realize that they're loved and that they have a purpose in this world? What's the value of that? What's the value of this person being there and making the home an inviting place to retreat to after a day's work? What's the value of that? They should never go unnoticed. They should never go unappreciated. Whether they are keepers of the home, whether they have a career, whether they have many children, a few children, or no children. An excellent woman's worth is far above jewels. Far above jewels. Verse 10. She is a major asset to a family. She's a major asset to a church, or a business, or a society, or a nation. We haven't discussed her best quality yet, but I'm hoping that you ask God to give you a genuine appreciation for her. Let's pray. God, we thank you for women of excellence, women, Father, who make sacrifices day in and day out for their family, who work, who labor, who think things through, want to please you, want to care for others. Thank you so much for them. Thank you for this woman that's given us many things to look at, Father, to examine and to think about. We thank you for your goodness to us. We pray, Father, that Jesus Christ will be honored in our life through the week. We pray, Father, if there's somebody here today that they came and they're wondering about Jesus Christ and who he is and what it means to have a relationship with him, that they might ask somebody even before they leave today, what do I have to do to have a relationship with Jesus? Will Jesus forgive my sin? Would he be my Savior? Could Jesus help me with my situation? I just pray, Father, that people in need will find that you are the great I am. Thank you so much for your goodness to us. We thank you for this chance to be in your house, to partake of communion, to look into the scripture just a bit, to have fellowship with each other. Thank you so much for all that you've done for us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Do we have a song?
We're going to sing Amazing Grace, 429.
429, one verse of Amazing Grace.